Yo, what is good, guys? And today we're going to be carrying on with our F1 Ultra Career Mode. This is Season 1, Round 5, and we're going to be heading into Spain. I actually didn't record any of the practice sessions, so I don't have any footage for that. But we're going to go into qualifying 1. And I've done a lot of, like, practice, so, yeah. Okay, I hope I can qualify good, to be fair. This weekend, I've not had that last weekend was alright, I guess, to be fair. We have pretty good pace in practice. We're like P5 on the super soft tire. So I think we might have actually have good pace. And the qualifying program thing said we would have been P11 at max. So yeah. Um right, it's loading. Okay.
Today's qualifying session is about to start here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. And what a cracker of a session we're expecting it to be. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Let's see what we can do.
Too hard, it's causing your gearbox to take increased wear.
Right. Okay, let's see where we're gonna qualify on this first lap. Oh my god, we're going absolutely quick. Oh god, this does not feel like a very good first sector. I'm trying to sound very careful on the engine. Oh, that's steep, that's not good. Okay, that was not a good lap. We're only P. We're only out of Ericsson. Oh, that's not good. So yeah, that lap time wasn't really good, and this put us actually in the drop zone, which is not good to be fair. Okay, I mean yes, I know it shows that I'm P15, but it did put me P17 after Gasly and Thingy Grosjean did the laps. So yeah. It wasn't the best lap, but I knew I could improve, so eventually I went out and did my second lap. Okay, we've had a much better exit. Let's see what we can do. Oh, no, come on. Oh, we only go P15. Uh, right, that is pretty concerning, not gonna lie. Wait, do we have time for one more? I don't wait, we might not have time for one more lap. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Oh, 3 minutes.
We're
Wait.
sitting just inside the drop zone. We're going to need you to get back out there for
Right,
one final run.
right. Alright, go. Okay, we're gonna do one more lap, alright? We have just barely enough time, I think, for one more. Oh god. Right, no traffic. We have a car ahead of us. Okay, we've definitely come out in a... Oh, there's two back on, so we've gone in a good
Now,
position
luckily, I
now.
did have the time to
If
do one
if
more
we're able
lap,
to get some...
because I had still like 2 minutes left. So eventually, it was either I was going to be eliminated in Q1 for like the second race in a row. Wait, no, I mean, yeah, Baku was eliminated in Q1, or I'll make it into Q2. Let's see if I'm able to do that.
A mechanical issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
Oh, no. Right, P12, is that gonna be enough? Come on. Right, return to garage. Is that gonna be enough? Is that gonna be enough? Oh, yes, we're into Q2, okay. Right, that was a pretty good lap. Who's out? Okay, not really any surprises, to be fair. We're gonna enter Q2 now. Okay, that was such a clutch lap, bro. Oh god, the gearbox was really worn. That's gonna be a problem. We've lost a gear, apparently.
So we had made it to Q2, and now it was time for our flying lap. And to be fair, it wasn't that bad of a lap. To be fair, I wasn't really gonna know where I was gonna qualify. I had no idea. To be fair, if I was gonna even make it into Q3, it felt like I had a really good pace. So I thought I had like a chance to get into Q3, and if I get into Q3, there would be an extra chance at points. Even though the gearbox wasn't really looking that good, as I hit the bollard thingy at that corner for some reason. I always hit the bollards on these games. So yeah, the lap was pretty tidy overall, to be fair. It didn't feel like it was anything bad, to be honest. But yeah. Eventually round off the final corners, which sometimes I do really well and sometimes I do really badly. We're eventually gonna round off our first lap of Q2, and it looks like we're gonna be P8. By the looks of it, we were now P14. So yeah, we have to do a good lap if we want to get out of the drop zone.
Right, come on, let's see if we can improve our qualifying position. Oh, we're going to the grass a little bit.
If we don't get it to 10th or higher, we won't progress to the shootout. Give it your best shot.
Oh no. We may have got the corner a little bit, but let's see. Oh, wait, we're into the... Wait. We barely made into Q2. Oh my god. We cut the final corner of it and we made it into Q2. That is wild. Um... Oh, we're through by just a couple thousands on Esteban Ocon. Okay, looks like Van Dorn is P12. Alright, you know what? We're into Q2, which is pretty good. Okay, I was meant to say Q3 instead of Q2, but in Q3, something a bit weird happened. Basically, my audio kind of messed up during the recording, and I didn't end up doing a lap, so I was trying to fix it. So yeah, we're going to be starting P10 overall. I have a screenshot if you guys want to see, and yeah, I'm starting P10. So yeah, let's get on with the race.
You're pushing too hard. It's causing your gearbox to take increased wear.
Van Dorn. What the hell is going on? Oh my god.
We've lost one of the gears. The transmission is significantly damaged. We're down a gear. Okay, bad news on the gearbox. The team are trying everything they can think of, but they're not optimistic.
Okay, that first lap, to be fair, was pretty chaotic, and I tried to defend from sides, and I think I may have sent signs to a spin, so I have no idea what's going on.
God,
But
why
eventually,
are
we
we paying
pitted
so
very early
early,
in
bro?
lap 4 because we're on a 2-stop strategy and we're starting on super soft. A lot of our drivers actually decided to stay out on the super soft, and because everyone was in a massive train, this would make it so everyone would be bunched up, and this would make it a lot easier for me to undercut them. So yeah, eventually we were just gonna rejoin in last
We might
without
get pretty
any
good
problems whatsoever. So yeah, now the top 6 already have a bit of a now the top 6, wait no, I mean Verstappen and like the top 5 have a bit of a margin. Then we have Magnussen. Then there's a massive train from Hulkenberg. I don't know if he has damage. I don't know if I gave him damage or he's just slow. I think I might have given him some damage because Van Dorn's gone ahead of him and he's slower than Van Dorn. So yeah, I don't know what's happened, to be fair. There was actually some more chaos on lap 5 as Lance Stroll ends up retiring due to an engine failure. And we actually have a couple of drivers coming into the pits for their first pit stop, including Hamilton, Hulkenberg, and Magnussen. Now, Magnussen was already ahead of us before our pit stop anyway, so we're probably going to stay in P17.
Now we have P17. Magnussen is ahead of you. They're on fresh softs. Hamilton is behind you. They've just entered the pits. They're on fresh softs. Pit window will open in 10 laps time. Pit window opens in 10 laps. 28 laps to go.
Not much, to be fair, happens except a couple of people pay as we're in P15 and Magnus is being held up by 2 backmarkers, Ericsson and Sirotkin, which is pretty good, which means that Magnus is losing time to me, which will really help me so I can actually get close to him. Now, I don't really have a good enough exit to try and overtake him, and Magnussen is gonna try and overtake one of the Salvers, but the Salver has actually got DRS from the Williams, so yeah, Magnus is really struggling. Hamilton is kind of catching up a lot, but it's not like I can really find Mercedes, can I, to be fair, in this McLaren car, because it's realistically a midfield car, not a top contender like the Mercedes. So yeah, Magnus is still being held up by both of both of them, which is pretty good. And eventually, because AI are a bit slow in this part of the track, I'm gonna try and overtake Magnussen. As I'm gonna, well, okay, I don't overtake Magnussen, but I have a much better exit aim, to be fair. So I could try and overtake him here,
really getting out
but
of
I
it.
don't really have the battery, to be fair.
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Switch to overtake.
So yeah, to be fair, this is actually becoming now bad because now Hamilton's going to catch up even more because I can't overtake Magnussen. It's better if I stay ahead of Magnussen, to be fair. But eventually Magnussen has DRS and he moves a bit, but eventually I'm going to send a double overtake of Magnussen and Ericsson. Almost hits Sirocki and I go a little bit deep, but I stay ahead of them and I send Ericsson off the track, to be fair. Which causes Magnussen to get past him. So yeah, we're now past one of the back markers. We still, however, have another back marker, which isn't really going to help us, to be fair, of Sergei Sirotkin. And I don't know how Ericsson's losing out to a literal Williams when they're like 100 points ahead of Williams in the R&D show. So yeah, eventually we're going to have the ERS. I'm going to try and overtake Sirotkin as we are going very, very quick, to be fair. And we're going to try and send it down the side, but Magnus is also trying to send it down the side, but he, unfortunately, closed the door on him. So yeah. Sirotkin hopefully can hold off Magnussen for a bit, which would really help us, to be fair. So now we're going to try and pull away from Sirotkin, and Leclerc and Harley are just ahead by a couple of seconds. And then we have we're practically now the leader of the midfield, technically. Hamilton's caught up a bit, but that shouldn't really be a problem if he's going to be stuck in traffic. The lap after that, we do eventually catch up to both Leclerc and Harley, and Magnussen was held up back like 2 seconds to Sirotkin, as we're going to do a massive send on Leclerc. Sorry, I just wanted to get past you. And Harley, yeah, we have Harley now, and hopefully it shouldn't really be that difficult to pass, to be fair, as we're very quick through the first and second sector. I was looking to try and maybe send it on, like, that corner there, that high-speed corner, but I didn't want to risk it, to be fair. And eventually we do have the DRS, and we're going to overtake Harley around the outside of this corner, which I do kind of squeeze him, but eventually we get the job done, and now we're up to P8. We do have both four seniors of Ocon and Perez who still need to pit, but they shouldn't really be a problem because their pit window is going to be opening in a couple of laps' time, so yeah. I mean, we may have lost, to be fair, it doesn't look like we have lost much ground, to be fair, just by doing an extra pit stop, as Harley behind us is going to come in, and Leclerc hopefully should hold off Hamilton, as Hamilton actually gets past Magnussen.
8th place, you're in 8th place. Ocon ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 2.8 seconds. They're on old softs. Leclerc behind. The gap to the car behind is 1.2 seconds. They're on old softs. The distance to the leader is 22.5 seconds. You have 4 laps till your pit window opens. 22 laps to go. Gap to car in front is 2.7 seconds.
We do catch up to Ocon, but we go a little bit wide, and Hamilton's now really close to us. Now, I didn't really want to fight Hamilton, so I just went a bit wide and just let him through, I guess, because I knew he could, if he overtook Ocon, but I don't know what the hell he's doing. Why is it switchbacking, bro? So, eventually I was going to let Hamilton do the process of overtaking Ocon, since I couldn't really fight Hamilton, to be fair. And if he did, that would be pretty good, because then we shouldn't have any problems of overtaking Ocon, as we are actually getting gapped a little bit for some reason. We had a bit of a terrible second sector, and Gearbox is really looking bad, to be fair, as Hamilton's going to send it around the outside of Ocon, which is really going to help us, to be fair. So yeah, eventually we're probably going to get past Ocon if we are able to have a good exit, which I hope we do. We slide a little bit, we slide a little bit, to be fair. But yeah, and that's kind of deep, so yeah. So yeah, now we have Ocon ahead of us. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a bad exit, to be fair. But we do have the ERS, and Perez actually goes into the pits, and we're getting a bit close to Ocon, but not really close enough, to be fair. I'm going to do a massive send on Ocon, and I somehow do not do a collision with him. That was probably one of my best overtakes on this game, to be fair. And yeah, that was pretty good. It didn't look like I was going to have any problems this race, but I did eventually have a bit of a problem.
Okay, the gearbox is running a fault. Shift speeds will be reduced.
So yeah, unfortunately for us, the gearbox ended up getting jammed, which basically meant that I had like no speed or whatsoever, or the gears were incorrect. Basically, I was doing 5th gear in a 3rd gear corner, which was not ideal to be fair. And this meant that I couldn't like gear shift properly due to the high weight of the gearbox, and eventually this meant that some corners I took really slowly, like this one where I was meant to be in 4th and instead I took it in 5th. I mean, I hope I wasn't gonna have this issue for the entire race, because if I did, then I would probably not even finish in the points, which would be very concerning. And Hamilton actually had a mechanical issue, which was why it was a bit slow, and he could hold Perez up, which would be pretty good. We still had Gasly, and I think Perez is still needed to pit, and Gasly does eventually pit this lap. Yeah, the gearbox wear was not really helping us, to be fair, because this meant that we were not even going that quick on the straight, bro. We weren't even going like
the gearbox is fucked.
Magnussen caught up quite quickly, to be fair. I hope the gearbox issue would eventually be fixed, but yeah, the gearbox didn't look like it was going to get fixed, to be fair, which was going to be a little bit concerning. So, yeah. Our race could either just be completely ruined, or we could somehow defend for points, which I don't know if that was even possible, to be fair. I could have replaced the gearbox before the race, but I didn't want to take a grid penalty. I'll probably replace it next race in Monaco, but the gearbox does eventually get fixed, which is good. So yeah, it was only like a temporary fault, to be fair, but I hope we weren't going to have any more faults, to be fair, throughout this race.
Okay, the gearbox has been in jam very good.
Okay, so it seems like that it's actually getting way more sunny on the track, and we only have about 10 laps to go. We have not had any gearbox issues since, and we've got the Magnussen, and now both Reynolds and both Hasses are fighting, which is pretty good. Van Dorn unfortunately had some sort of issue, which made him wasn't really that quick, and I think it was only like he was only like P13, which isn't really good. But eventually Hamilton is not able to stick
away from Magnussen,
to be fair, as it looks like that he's probably going to be slow, and eventually we do set a new personal best lap. We do have to go lean because the fuel is kind of marginal, which isn't really going to help us, to be fair. Because I should have actually put a little bit more fuel, to be fair, but you know, I can live with this, to be fair. It's not like it's going to be that much of a deal, to be fair. So, yeah, I honestly think that we could actually finish P7 if Hamilton's issue gets worse, which would really be a good result for us, as we will get a lot of points. But yeah, Vettel sets another fastest lap, as it looks like Verstappen is kind of dominating the field, to be fair. But you know, I mean, Vettel's actually taking a lead from Verstappen, so he must have been really quick as we go into the ground, which isn't really going to help us, to be fair, as we lose some time to Hamilton. So, yeah.
Hamilton ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 2.1 seconds. You're closing by 0.4 per lap. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 6 laps old. They seem to have an issue. The time last lap was a 1 minute 26.0.
Hamilton's issue did eventually get a bit worse, and eventually we're now here just a lap after, eventually using our DRS and battery to try and get past Hamilton, and we're going to send it down the inside of him at the first corner, and we're past him. Now, if his issue if he carries on being slow, he should be able to hold off Magnussen behind, which would be pretty good. Now, I'm not exactly too sure if I'm going to be able to catch up to Perez, because he seems pretty quick, but he is only about a couple of seconds ahead. He's only about 3 seconds ahead. And, yeah, the top 5 were, like, absolutely destroying the Grand Prix. As it looks like, if you guys can see on the mini-map, it looks like Sebastian Vettel's starting to lap people already, same with Verstappen also. So, yeah, it just shows how them two have been just dominating this entire GP. Verstappen was dominating the GP at the beginning of the race, but Vettel, because he's in a quicker car, probably just got him. As, yeah, Hamilton is really struggling. He's already close to the Reynolds. One of the Reynolds is already close to him, which is really going to help us, to be fair. And Perez, we're kind of closing in on him. So, yeah, hopefully we can get P6.
Okay, I'm kind of concerned of the fact that Hulkenberg is catching up.
The gap behind us is
Oh no,
1.8
Hulkenberg is
seconds.
catching up. That is a problem.
Well, yeah, Hulkenberg was kind of catching up, and I have no idea why. I don't know if he got quick all of a sudden, but the Renault, to be fair, is quicker than McLaren on this game, so yeah. It was a bit concerning because I would
Dude, what is
probably
this
have a little
turn?
bit
Oh
of a
my
pressure
days.
because I go very wide at that corner, which doesn't really help, to be fair. Verstappen says a new fastest lap, so I don't know if the Vettel and Verstappen like trying to fight or anything, because they seem a bit close, to be fair, so they might be fighting for the lead. I'm not sure, to be fair.
Why is Hulkenberg so quick? He's literally catching up.
Now I ended up getting an achievement for some reason.
Is 1.9
Oh, I got a
seconds.
rare achievement. What the hell's wrong with my audio, bro? It just broke.
P7 now. P7. Perez ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 1.9 seconds. They're on old mediums. Hulkenberg behind. The gap to the car behind is 1.0 seconds. They're on old mediums. Your pit window is open. Pit window is open. 5 laps till the end. Perez is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 2.2 seconds. You're closing by 0.4 per lap. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 14 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 24.6.
What the hell? Oh. Hulkenberg, you're not overtaking me today, buddy.
I have like no idea how the hell I made an overtake on Hulkenberg like that without making contact. I thought I was gonna crash into him, to be fair. Also on the straight, I don't think he got damaged. Well, I'm sure he did it, and unfortunately for us, Hamilton's issue actually got fixed, which basically means that he's gonna be quick now, which is a bit concerning because we might lose P7 to Hamilton. Hulkenberg, I don't think will probably catch up. We're closing in on Perez a bit, but I don't think we're gonna get him, to be fair. It doesn't feel like we have the pace whatsoever. So, yeah.
The gap to the car ahead is 2.0 seconds.
To be fair, I didn't really have an option because Hamilton did eventually catch up to us on the next lap, but it was actually a yellow flag, as you guys can see on the minimap. But one of the sectors was like green, and then it becomes yellow, and that is because something very interesting happens. Verstappen, I see Verstappen on the minimap. That's the blue dot, which is the Red Bull, and I'm thinking, wait, the Sebastian.
Vettel, wait, what? Vettel was leading the GP and he's out. Oh my god, we're gonna gain another position actually.
These tyres need to last.
Wait, is our gearbox gonna last? Oh, that is concerning. Come on, please.
Eventually, we're going to be heading on to the final lap of this race, and yeah, with Sebastian Vettel retiring on the final lap, we're now P7. To be fair, it could have been P6, maybe even a P5 if we caught up to Perez, but yeah, you know what, I'll take a P7. It's a pretty good result. The gearbox, to be fair, is 90%. I'll probably have to replace it next race, because there's no chance of doing Monaco with a 90% one gearbox. That's like near impossible, to be fair. So yeah, eventually Verstappen will take the win, a very dominant win like he did in 2016, to win his second Spanish Grand Prix. So yeah, pretty good job from Red Bull after they had a bit of a disastrous start to the season. And Sebastian Vettel, unfortunately, will have another terrible run of races, because he had a terrible result in Baku after his grid penalty, as he couldn't overtake, and here he DNF'd, which will probably not help him. Kimi Raikkonen will finish in second, I think. Wait, no, it will be Kimi Raikkonen, and then it will be Valtteri Bottas in third,
I'm also gonna be able to get
ahead of
Perez
Ricciardo.
back.
So yeah, overall a pretty good weekend from Red Bull, as yeah, they scored some pretty good points. Mercedes didn't really have a good weekend due to Hamilton's grid penalty, and Ferrari had a DNF. So the three big teams majorly struggled. Perez is going to get another big result, as he's going to be holding off Hamilton through these last set of corners, and we're eventually going to come in P7. We were closing in a little bit on these two, but it's not going to be enough as we go a little bit wide, to be fair. Oh god, that is not what I want to do, and we're going to come home and finish in P7.
Oh, let's go, guys. Oh my god, we got P7. Alright, come on, Jeff. Why is it only an alright race over? Is it no good job, great result, bruh? Okay.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. So, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, we had a pretty good race, to be fair, finishing P7, which is really going to help us, to be fair. Van Dorn didn't really have a good weekend. He did have, to be fair, a mechanical issue on his car, so it didn't really help, to be fair.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time, though, goodbye.
Okay, so now we're P12 in the standings. Ricciardo and Verstappen get past Vettel due to his retirement. Perez is somehow P7. He's just destroying the entire midfield. Leclerc is still P10. In the Constructors, we're now tied with Sauber, but because Leclerc is higher in the standings, we're behind. So, yeah. That result really helped us, to be fair. I am so happy.
Not gonna lie, I don't really have much else to say, so I'll see you all next time, so goodbye.